Welcome to NarrativeNook audio tales where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening.
We must find a place where can lie low and catch some rest before it gets dark. Nicole looked around. It seems that we are fated to remain here on the plains tonight, Carl said, helpless as it was something he did not anticipate would happen. Carl, let's go. Nicole took the lead and sped off. Let's just stay here tonight. We'll need to get ourselves some branches and build ourselves a simple tent. Oh, and let's not forget, we need to think of something to protect us and our horses too, Nicole explained while examining the tiny tree branches. Okay. I'll get us some sticks and twigs while you wait here with the horses, Carl said, and made a beeline for the coppice. Soon after, Carl returned with an armful of broken branches. Okay. I think we may start now. Okay. I need to get some traps ready while I set up the tent, Nicole said, delegating the task to him. Okay. The two of them began to work together in a tense and orderly manner, and it did not take long for Nicole to complete the tent, the main purpose of which was for protection against any of the creatures which might be roaming about. How are you doing over here? Nicole asked as she went over to Carl. I've set a few traps, so be careful, Carl looked at Nicole as he continued. I'm going to get us some branches for firewood, Nicole said, and made her way to the coppice. The protective measures are in place, but what are we going to eat? Nicole thought to herself while trudging along the path. Out of the blue, the grass in front of her rustled. Nicole instinctively assumed a defensive posture, leaning over the grass and treading lightly with her feet. Then, a rabbit jumped out, startling her. Nicole unsheathed the dagger which she had brought, and chased the rabbit down with it. The moment she saw an opening, she seized her blade by the tip and threw it at the rabbit, killing it at an instant. Then, she strutted over and picked the carcass up. Once she had returned to the campsite, Carl shot her an anxious look. Where have you been? What took you so long? In response, Nicole held the rabbit out in front of her with a smile on her face. Looks like we won't be starving tonight. Ah, so you were hunting that thing down, Carl said, astonished as he took the branches off her arms. I was beginning to wonder what took you so long. Get the fire started. I'll roast it when you're done. Nicole instructed. Okay. Carl rushed over, kindling the flames shortly after. Now that it's done, I'll leave the roasting to you. Nicole looked at Carl. No problem. Just wait. We're going to make in such a way that it is crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. Carl picked up the branches as Nicole skewered the rabbit, roasting it on the bonfire. Wow, that smells really good, Nicole said, as she stared at the meat cooking over the flames. Let's wait for a while longer. It'll be even tastier then, Carl said, looking at Nicole who he knew was already on the verge of drooling. Wait a little longer? No, I don't think I will, Nicole said as grabbed a piece and began tearing into it. How is it? Carl asked Nicole. Is it done well? Yeah. Don't roast it anymore. It's good as it is. Nicole beamed with satisfaction as she ate. All that matters is that we don't have to go through the night with an empty stomach, she thought. It's all right. It'll be done before you know it. I'll let you have a taste of it in a while. Trust me, it'll be even tastier, Carl said with a smile as his face shimmered with the light from the flames. Okay, I'm calling dibs on the drumstick. Carl reached out and tore into the thigh of the rabbit, unable to wait any longer. Wow. This is good. You know, it has been a while since I've eaten any sort of meat this way. To be honest, opportunities like these don't present themselves very often. Nicole looked at Carl, who was brimming with satisfaction as he chowed down on the thigh. After they had enjoyed a scrumptious meal, Carl turned to Nicole and said, I'll get some sleep first. I suggest we take turns. For the first half of the night, I need you to keep a lookout for us, and for the second half, I'll do that. Okay, sure, she replied. It was easy for them to keep watch during the first half of the night. Nicole was wide awake and had stayed up until midnight without even realizing it. She was not tired, and seeing that Carl was sound asleep, she was in no hurry to wake him up. She got up and approached Pinto. When she was near, she noticed that Pinto was not asleep either. He was standing there as if he was on guard duty with her. She proceeded to check on the 2 horses, which were fine. Then, she made her way back to the tent and gave Carl a light push. Get up. It's your turn to keep watch. Carl sat up and looked around, startled. What's wrong? Nothing. It's just your turn to keep watch, Nicole said, and laid down to catch some rest. By the way, I've checked on the 2 horses, and they aren't having any issue. I'm going to get some shut-eye now. If you see anything out of the blue, wake me up. Don't try to deal with it on your own. Okay. Get some sleep then. Carl stretched and stood up to readjust his position, after which he eyed the surroundings with a dagger in hand. Meanwhile, Jared had brought his entourage back to the racecourse after their first, unsuccessful attempt at finding Nicole. He had decided that he could not wait any longer and turned to his aide, Max Graham. Organize a search and rescue immediately. Understood. Max took his phone out and called for a search party. About 30 minutes later, 2 teams marched in and stood in front of Jared. I've sent you the details of the individuals we are searching for in the chat room. We are to split into 2 teams to search and rescue them in the plains. If you come across any situations, report it to the racecourse immediately, Max ordered in front of everyone. Understood, they said. Let's go. Under Max's instructions, the 2 teams departed for the grassland. Mr. Johnston, the 2 teams are now on their way. Don't worry, Miss Riddle will be fine. She has got her wits about her, Max assured, as this was the first time he had seen Mr. Johnston look so anxious. There is only so much their eyes can do at this hour. Send a helicopter over right away. Jared ordered in a solemn tone of voice. All right, Max said, and proceeded to make another call. We have 2 missing individuals here. Send a search and rescue helicopter over at once. Max, tell the pilot to make a pit stop here at the racecourse first, Jared ordered. Within 10 minutes, a helicopter landed outside the racecourse, and Jared proceeded to approach it. Max, I need you to stay here. Jared climbed in. Keep me posted the second you receive any updates regarding the situation. Mr. Johnston, are you going with them? Yes. The helicopter took off slowly, with Jared gazing down from the helicopter every now and again, hoping to catch sight of any signals that might indicate that Nicole was calling for help. Concurrently, Nicole was deep in sleep, completely unaware of the fact that Jared had lost his mind crazy in his search for her. All of a sudden, a howl echoed across the field, jolting her awake. She sat up and looked at Carl at an instant. Was that a wolf? Yes, I'm afraid so. Quick! Nicole ordered. Throw more branches into the fire. We need to make our flame larger. What sort of weapons have you brought to defend yourself? Nicole turned to Carl. I have a dagger with me, he replied. Our daggers won't be of much use against the wolves, she said, assessing the potential situation. We can only use our torches to scare them away. If the wolves surround us, we must protect our horses, find out which one is the pack alpha as soon as possible, and target it so that we may live to see the sun rise. I got it. Carl nodded, ready to defend his camp. The horses began to thrash and whine, attempting to free themselves from their bonds. Noticing this, Nicole hurried over to comfort Pinto and the other horse and shot a bullet of a glacé over her shoulder at Carl. They must be close. As soon as had uttered those words, she saw about a dozen pairs of eyes gleaming about in the dark, charging at her general direction. When they were nearing the campsite, they slowed down and began to size Nicole up, sensing out for any weaknesses and vulnerabilities through visual and auditory cues. Then, they halted and circled around the duo, effectively surrounding Nicole and Carl, who could only stare back at them. Carl, they stopped, Nicole said. I can see that. Perhaps they are not coming any closer because of the flames, Carl said, hazarding a guess. If this is going to keep them at bay, how long do you think our fire can last? Nicole asked Carl. It won't last until the break of dawn. Carl looked at the branches surrounding them, knowing that he should have gotten more of those earlier. Then let's keep the fire burning for as long as possible, she ordered. Use anything that is flammable, and I mean everything, including the tent. I've counted the branches, he said. All right, good. Looks like I've got no choice but to fight them. Nicole said, staring at the wolves who were standing in wait directly across. As long as the flames remained kindled, they would not pounce. Carl, can you identify the alpha of the pack? Nicole asked Carl. No, they're too far away. Carl shook his head. I don't think I can tell just yet. Wait, I have an idea, Nicole. You see is pretty fast and can cover great distances in a short span of time. I'll distract the wolves for you while you hurry back to the racecourse to get help. If I go, what do you think is going to happen to you? Nicole asked. There are so many of them against one of you. How are you supposed to fight them off on your own? Just go, he yelled, urging her to flee. Cut the crap, save your breath, and let's kill ourselves a few wolves, she cried out. After all these years going through hell and high waters for you, when have I ever left you to fend for yourself? Nicole could tell what he was thinking, but she would never flee on her own, let alone leave him here to be fed to the wolves. No, you're not running away, he said, still attempting to push her away. Don't look at it that way. You're actually going to get help, and by doing that, you'll eventually be able to save the both of us. If you don't go now, we're both going to be trapped here. Nicole neither answered nor looked at him, for her eyes were on the wolves. Realizing that he could not convince Nicole to flee without him, he breathed a huge sigh. As the fire began to dim, the wolves grew restless, and proceeded to advance on them, inching in ever closer. Carl, we can't just sit still while the fire is still burning, Nicole reminded. Once it goes out, we'll be in dire straits. Okay. What do you suggest we do? Carl looked at Nicole. Do you see that slightly larger wolf at the back? Nicole pointed to Carl. Yeah, I can see it. I suspect that it is the alpha, she said, analyzing the situation. If we can snuff him out, the entire pack will disperse, and we'll be all right. Okay. I'll help you out by luring the others away while you take care of that one, Carl vowed. Okay. Mount your horse and lead the wolves to the grove so that I can flank them from the sides, Nicole explained to Carl. It is a feasible strategy, but with high reward comes a high risk for you. If the wolves don't tail me, you'll be in grave danger. Carl pointed out. I know, but that is the only solution we have. Nicole looked at Carl firmly. Okay, how about you separate and distract them, while I go after the alpha? Carl suggested, not wanting Nicole to risk it. Don't underestimate them when you begin leading them away, she warned. They are fast. Once they have given chase, you must climb up the nearest tree you can find. Otherwise, you'll just become their next snack. Okay. Just do as I've said. I'll count down to 3 and you'll make a run for the grove. Nicole picked her torch up and mounted Pinto, with Carl doing the same with his stallion. Are you ready? Nicole shouted. Yes. 3, 2, 1. Go. Carl sped off to the grove, prompting several members of the pack to give chase and hunt him down. As this was happening, Nicole made a beeline for the alpha, which proceeded to bare its teeth, ready to pounce. The remaining wolves charged forth, prompting her to wave her torch at them to keep them at bay. She repeated this until she was about 10 yards away from the alpha, during which she unsheathed her dagger, and in a swift, stabbing motion, plunged her blade into the beast, killing it. Seeing this, the rest of the pack howled and yelped as they dispersed. With that done, she retrieved her dagger and galloped off to the grove that Carl vanished into. Meanwhile, Carl was clinging onto a branch atop a tree, while his horse had fled in a panic. With the alpha slain, and the pack scattered, it was now safe for him to make his descent. Carl, where are you? Nicole called out. I'm up here, Carl replied from above. The wolves are gone. You can come down. Nicole held her torch up, illuminating the trunk of the tree as Carl tossed his away and made his way down the tree. Have you dealt with the pack leader? Yeah. Let's head over there. By the way, where's your horse? Nicole asked upon realizing that his stallion was missing. I think he hightailed it when all that chaos was unfolding. Well, never mind then, let's see what you've done to the alpha. Carl picked his torch up and strutted off to where the incident had occurred. However, before they could reach the area where Nicole had slain the alpha, a few wolves were already present, mourning the death of their pack leader. Carl, let's not go over there. Then let's take this opportunity to get more branches for the fire.
All right.
Sitting next to the campfire, Nicole and Carl could still see a few wolves about a few hundred yards away.
Do you think they are going to come after us?
Carl asked. It's hard to tell, so let's just keep our wits about us, she replied. Meanwhile, the helicopter and the rescue teams on the ground had been searching in vain for the both of them for over an hour now, but they were still not able to find anyone or anything. From where Jared was sitting, he had not seen a single distress signal at all. Look further south, he instructed the pilot.
Yes, sir.
After flying for a while, the pilot spotted a flare in the distance and reported his sighting to Jared at once. Mr. Johnston, there is a light source up ahead. Jared craned his neck and squinted his eyes. Head over there. Quick. Then, the helicopter took off toward the light in full speed. Hearing the whirring of the rotor blades, Nicole gave Carl a sideways glance. Carl, do you hear that? I think I heard it, Carl replied.
It's behind us.
Carl and Nicole spun around and gazed up at the same time, and as expected, they saw a helicopter flying toward them. Wave our torches, Nicole ordered. Mr. Johnston, it seems that someone is calling for help, the pilot reported. Go to the rescue, Jared instructed, hoping that the person waving at them was Nicole. The helicopter hovered for a moment and descended, whereupon Jared stepped out, and when he saw that the person who had flagged him down was Nicole, he hurried over and locked her in a tight embrace.
Are you all right?
I'm okay. She pushed him away at once. How did you know I was here?
Long story.
Jared looked around. We were all over the place looking for you, and then we found you here.
Anyway, let's go on the chopper.
Nicole turned her attention to Carl. Hey, climb in and make your return with these guys.
Aren't you coming with us?
Carl asked Nicole. I'll head back together with Pinto, she said, looking at Jared. I can't just leave him here. You guys can just tell me the route home.
How about this?
We stay here and keep you company until dawn breaks in case another beast comes for you, Carl suggested, reminiscing about the wolf attack earlier.
Beast?
Jared turned to Carl in shock.
Yeah, Carl explained.
We were attacked by wolves earlier. Fortunately, Nicole managed to kill the alpha and get us out of the woods.
Are you hurt?
Jared turned to Nicole at once. No, don't worry about it, Nicole assured. You really don't have to keep me company. Just leave the tools for me to find my way back. No, it is dark and you really shouldn't be here alone. Jared insisted, refusing to leave Nicole out here alone, no matter what, at least not anymore.
Max, I found Nicole.
He reported to Max on the phone. I'll send you the location. Tell the rescue team to make their way here as soon as possible. Come on, we can't just wait here. Carl, get into the helicopter with Jared and fly back. I'll take Pinto with me and meet the rescue team along the route, Nicole said as she looked at the two men, who were still refusing to board the helicopter. How about this, Nicole? Jared began. Get into the chopper with Carl and I will meet the rescue team midway. I have Pinto's trust, anyway. This is the only way I could protect her. I'd rather she and Carl get back by plane together if it means getting her back safe and sound.
No can do.
Wouldn't it be worse if you were in danger?
I'm not going to agree to this.
Nicole argued, with neither of them wanting the other to stay. Why don't the both of you head back first, and I'll lead Pinto to the rescue team slowly, Carl said while staring at the both of them, knowing that it was the last resort. No, Pinto doesn't know you well enough and he won't let you handle him, Nicole said, concerned over Pinto's safety above all else. Well, if that's the case, we should all stay here then, Jared said, not knowing what else he could do. Seeing that neither of the two men would leave, Nicole was at her wits' end as well. Then, an idea dawned upon her.
All right, listen up.
Why don't we do this? I'll ride the horseback, and you can lead the way with the helicopter. I guess that'd work, Carl looked at Jared. After a moment of hesitation, Jared caved in and nodded. Stay safe and pay attention to your surroundings. He had no choice but to get into the helicopter with Carl. With the aid of the searchlight, Nicole rode Pinto across the plains awash in darkness. It was pitch black, and she could not even see her fingers before her, with the beam of light being the only thing that was visible to her. To rendezvous with the rescue team as soon as possible, Nicole pushed her legs against Pinto's flank, giving him the command to speed up. Though the ride was interminable, Nicole was eventually able to meet the team of rescuers while the two men returned to the racecourse, waiting for her. Still racked by anxiety, Jared entered the building and pulled a chair over for a seat, as Carl stood outside and paced around. About 20 minutes later, he saw the twinkling of lights from the rescue team in the distance. Knowing for sure that it was Nicole, he got on a horse and galloped off to their general direction. Jared Johnston heard noises outside and asked, "Max, is that a horse?" "I think it is," Max answered. Jared hurried out of the building and saw that Carl had already galloped off on horseback, and there seemed to be light shining in from the distance where Carl was heading off to. He knew that it was Nicole, who had made a safe return along with the rescue team. "Prepare dinner for us right away." Jared stood outside at gate of the racecourse and kept watch, as the light became brighter with each passing second. "Why are you here again?" Nicole shook her head when she saw Carl was rushing toward her. "I just came over to see how you're doing," he said with a look of concern. "Have you encountered any creatures along the way?" "No, there were a lot of people with me. I'm fine." Nicole looked at Carl with a smile. "Is that Jared?" she asked upon catching a glimpse of a person standing outside the gates of the racecourse. "I think it is," Carl replied without much certainty, as he had not seen Jared when he rode away. "Come," Jared said as he helped Nicole dismount. "You didn't encounter anything on the way back, did you?" Jared looked at Nicole with concern. Safe and sound, Nicole glanced at Jared and began ambling off to the house in the racecourse. "Come on inside." Jared took Nicole's hand and walked in. Upon entering, Nicole saw a table filled with lavish meals. "Wow, there's food prepared." "Miss Riddle, are you okay?" Uncle Ronnie came over and asked. Nicole looked at Uncle Ronnie apologetically. "I'm okay. I'm sorry. I must have scared you. I even lost one of your horses too." "No worries," Ronnie said. "All is well, as long as you're back in one piece. Please, help yourself to some food and catch some rest once you're done." "Okay," she replied. "Thank you, Uncle Ronnie." Upon seeing that Nicole was fine, Ronnie Willis went back to his quarters and resumed with his sleep, leaving Jared and Carl to accompany Nicole on the dining table. "It's really cold outside, so I suggest you get yourselves warmed up with some wine." Jared looked at them both, and then centered his gaze on Nicole. "Hey Nicole, you made a bonfire out in the wild. Were you lost?" "Yeah, well I was originally going out for a ride, but then I kept going and the next thing I knew, I wasn't able to find my way back," Nicole replied, without telling him that he was the reason as to why she had sped off the way she did. "Thank goodness we came back safe and sound, or else we'd have been sleepless," Carl jokes. "No, it gave me a lingering fear. This is the first time I've been surrounded by wolves. It was really traumatizing," Nicole sighed before taking another bite. Listening to the exchange between the two of them, Jared began to get an idea of how terrifying it must have been for them. "Nicole, have some of these." Jared placed pieces of vegetables onto her bowl. "It'll help put you at ease." "Thank you for coming for us, or else we wouldn't have known what other kinds of beasts we might have to encounter." Nicole flashed Jared a bitter smile and turned to Carl. Indeed, if Jared had not found them, they would have ran out of means to defend themselves if they encountered another creature again. "Yeah, thanks you for arriving in time, Mr. Johnston," Carl said and raised his glass to Jared. Jared raised his glass in response. "Don't mention it. Although Jared had led a search party for me tonight, I don't think I can feel it. Deep down inside I'm still mad at him, but with Carl here, I don't want to ruin the atmosphere. He might think we are just being obnoxious with all of that drama." By the time the meal was over, Nicole had regained much of her strength, and Carl had excused himself, leaving her in the company of Jared. "I'm off to bed as well." Nicole placed her cutlery down and made her way to one of the bedrooms. Jared followed Nicole with the thought of sharing the bed with her, but she whirled around and glared at him upon entering the room. "I wish to sleep alone tonight. There should be other rooms prepared for you, as you are a regular here." After saying that, she slammed the door in his face. Jared stood in front of the door of Nicole's room with a frown. Her sudden outburst had left him puzzled. She was fine earlier when we were having dinner, so I wonder what caused the sudden shift in her mood. He knocked on the door, but as nobody answered, he had to make do with the other rooms for the night. The next morning, after bidding goodbye to Uncle Ronnie, Jared drove Nicole back to the villa, with Carl departing for his hotel. As they drove, Nicole kept looking out the window, not wishing to speak to Jared. He glanced at her and said, "Did you sleep well last night?" "Yeah, I did." Nicole offered a faint reply without making eye contact. Noticing that she did not turn around, he pressed on. "Why did you ride so far out yesterday?" When the topic was brought up, the mental image of Jared and Fiorella together in the cart surfaced, and her fury sprung to life. "The scenery was breathtaking," Nicole said with her voice raised. Jared knew that she was unhappy, but he did not specifically know why. "The next time I visit that place, I'll take you there," he replied. "I've already seen it once. I don't wish to see it again." Nicole blurted out bluntly, as they were the only people in the car. "It is okay, next time, I'll take you to a place with a better view." Jared smiled in an attempt to lighten the mood, regardless of how angry Nicole was. "Where are you going?" Nicole asked upon noticing that they were not headed in the direction of the Sea View Villa. "Back to my place. I wish to go to the Sea View Villa to visit my grandma. If you return to the villa, pull over and leave me at the side of the road," Nicole said, not wanting to go back there for the time being. She needed a change in scenery for a few days in order to recuperate and ease the tension between the both of them. In response, he darted her a glance and said, "Okay, I'll take you to your grandma's." Instead of facing him, she glared at him from the corner of her eye. Soon after, the car pulled up in front of the Sea View Villa, and Nicole was about to get off the car when Jared noticed that she still did not want to talk to him. He stopped her. "Nicole, I'll pick you up later tonight." "There will be no need for that. I'll be staying here for a few days." After having said that, Nicole got out of the car and stormed off to the gate, with Jared watching her in a state of confusion. What have I done to upset her? He clenched the steering wheel and took a long breath, whereupon he floored the accelerator and left the Sea View Villa. Jared was still in a daze, even after he had arrived in his office, working on something at his desk. It was then that Max walked in. "Mr. Johnston, as requested, these are the documents detailing the money that had been spent." Max placed the documents in front of him. "What have you uncovered?" Jared looked at him and asked. "A lot of the funds have been withdrawn under the pretense that they would be used for important projects, but in actuality, none of these projects were real or have been carried out," Max reported. "Have you found out who was the one who had applied for them?" Jared eyed Max with a solemn look on his face. "They were all applied by Murphy Johnston." Jared slammed the documents on the table. "It seems that the father and son duo are up to no good. What do you want me to do?" "There is no need to do anything just yet. For now, we'll let him have it, but once this quarter of the year is over, we'll make him answer for the grand total that he has embezzled," he said, as his eyes glinted with a spark. "If you are going to embezzle from the Johnston Group, you better be competent enough to do so. How was your trip to the hospital?" "It was all right. The chairman is having a speedy recovery, and I can see that he is feeling much better now," Max reported. "That's good, but I need you to be vigilant." "Certainly. By the way, have you found Conrad?" "I'm afraid not," Max said. "The man I've hired for the job hasn't returned, but I'm pretty sure we'll hear from him soon." "Give him a call, so that we have an idea of what's going on," Jared ordered. "Yes, Mr. Johnston." As soon as Max took his phone out, the person whom he was about to call sent him a text message. "I had Conrad secured and was about to bring him back to us, but I was assaulted by someone I couldn't recognize. We were both captured and thrown into a warehouse where they sliced my tongue. I was released, but I think they've taken Conrad away by now." "Do you know where they're taking him? Have you managed to identify them?" Max texted back with his brows furrowed. "No, they were all wearing masks," the man replied. "They released me after they've sliced my tongue off, but I think the person who roughed me up had a pentagram tattoo on his arm." The other one looked like a ringleader of some sort. He was wearing a suit and a pair of expensive Leonardo shoes. Retrieve your tongue from the warehouse and get it reattached, Max advised. Then, go home and recuperate. I'll transfer the money to your bank account in a while. After replying to that man's text messages, Max turned to face Jared with a solemn look. What happened? Jared asked with his brows creased. One of our men just sent me a text, telling me that he was assaulted when he had finally managed to get his hands on Conrad. As for the latter, he is now being taken to God knows where. Our man got his tongue cut off too, but they released him. Thankfully, he was very observant. His attacker had a pentagram tattoo, and the person who appears to be the one who had hired him was wearing a suit and Leonardo shoes. Max reported the entire incident to Jared. Jared clenched his fists in anger. That pentagram tattoo and Leonardo shoes again. Here is the first order of business. Make sure that our man is well taken care of, and get some money transferred to him. Then, follow the lead that he has given us. I want to know who these two men are. Yes, Mr. Johnston. Be sure to get more people in for the job this time. Yes, Mr. Johnston. By the way, is there anything urgent for me to take care of in the office today? Jared looked at Max and queried. No. Very well, in which case, you'll be following me to the hospital, Jared ordered. Yes, Mr. Johnston, Max replied. Back in the Sea View Villa, Nicole was taking a rest in the bedroom when her phone buzzed as she received a message from Ike. Are you busy right now, Miss Riddle? Our research and development term has begun working on their tasks for quite some time now. Will you be able to pay us a visit anytime soon? Nicole was rather delighted to have received Ike's message. Hello, Ike. I have a lot on my plate right now, but I'll definitely be seeing you some other time. Besides, I really want to know your progress. Sure, we'll bring you over whenever you're available, Ike replied. We're already done with our initial preparations, so we're now moving on to the developmental phase in small teams. You're really quick and efficient. By the time I'm there, you've all probably already made tons of progress, she responded. Fingers crossed. I hope you'll be able to pay us a visit soon. Sure, all the best to you. A smile crossed her face as she did not expect Ike to be this excited to see her. Jared opened the door to his grandfather's ward and walked in as the physician was administering the routine checkup on his grandfather. Mr. Johnston, the doctor greeted. How is my grandfather doing? Jared asked. His condition is improving in a slow and stable way, which is good. Okay, but how long will it take for him to recover from being bedridden? Most likely in 2 months or so. Besides, it's advisable for him to get as much rest as he can, so that he achieve a faster recovery, the doctor advised. Thank you very much, doctor, Jared said. How's the company doing right now, Jared? Mr. Johnston Sr. asked. It had been some time since Maximilian last inquired about the company, and so, it was only natural that he was concerned about it as soon as he could muster the energy to do so. As much as he knew that Jared was more than capable of managing everything well, he could not help but miss his company. Jared noticed that his grandfather had made mentions the company multiple times, and so, he figured that he should offer him a few trivial updates to put him at ease. For starters, the beacon factory that we've invested in is achieving progress at a steady pace and has begun mass production now. Oh, I didn't expect it to make this much progress while I'm in the hospital. Maximilian's eyes widened. Thank you for your hard work, Jared. No, it is my duty, Jared replied humbly. Maximilian nodded with satisfaction and smiled at him. It seems that I've made the right decision by entrusting the company to you. What about the sister company that your uncle is managing? Did anything go amiss? Maximilian asked, as he was well aware of Henry's capabilities and disposition, and that was why he had only allowed him to manage the subsidiary company. No, he has been conducting himself appropriately these days, but there aren't many projects going on in his company, Jared lied, knowing that he needed to conceal the truth from Maximilian. Maximilian would nag, but his concern would not lead up to the point where he was furious at Henry. I knew it. He was fortunate enough to land himself a partnership, so I'm not even expecting him to have his hands on a large number of projects, the old man said. Maximilian was rather upset when he scolded Henry. However, he was not angry, as he had already anticipated that something like this would occur. "Don't get mad at him, Grandpa," Jared said. "You should be taking good care of your health right now. That's all that matters." "All right, I won't be aggrieved. I'll just forget about it once I'm done complaining. I have nothing to worry about as long as you're around." Maximilian looked at Jared with a smile. "By the way, why isn't Nicole with you today?" Maximilian asked. Jared had to lie about this again, and thus he said, "Nicole was out riding horses at Uncle Ronnie's racecourse, but the wind triggered a headache in her. That's why she is unable to pay you a visit today." "Oh, ask her to take good care of herself, even when she's out having fun," Maximilian said, his tone full of concern. "I was the one who hasn't really been taking good care of her." "I'll get her some medication later," Jared said, starting to feel guilty as he recalled the incident last night. "Jared, I'm not trying to intrude, but you can't neglect Nicole's feelings. I know you've been breaking your back for the company, but you must still make time for her. Don't make her feel lonely, all right?" Maximilian reminded him. "Yes, I understand, Grandpa. Anyway, you've been sitting up for quite some time now. Aren't you tired?" Jared asked, concerned about his grandfather. "I am, actually," Maximilian replied. "Just lay me down so that I can catch some rest, please. Anyway, you should go back to work now. I'll be sleeping soon, so you won't have to sit around to keep me company anymore." "Sure, please rest well, Grandpa. I'm leaving now, so I'll pay you a visit as soon as I can," Jared said, after which he stood up and left the hospital. While he in the car, his mind was racing with the advice that his grandfather had imparted, and after a while he ordered, "Bring me to the Sea View Villa, Max." Following a long drive, Max pulled up right outside the gates of the Sea View Villa. "We've arrived, Mr. Johnston," Max informed. Jared took a look at the villa and wondered, should I enter or should I just sit here and look? "Mr. Johnston?" A voice called out, whereupon Tia's petite figure appeared from the mansion's garden. Then, she sauntered toward Jared's car and greeted him. Jared's face was flushed with embarrassment when Tia spotted him, but he could only act as if nothing had happened. "Hi, Tia. Aren't you coming in?" Tia looked at Jared with her head tilted. "Of course I am." Jared smiled as he stepped out of the car and slammed the door shut. "I'm making a move now, Mr. Johnston. Please just call me if you need me," Max said, helping him out with the decision by removing the other option, and that was to stay in the car. Jared glared at Max while Tia gave the former a warm welcome. "Let's head inside, Mr. Johnston." "Sure, let's go," Jared said, after which he proceeded to enter the villa with Tia. "Have a seat, Mr. Johnston." Tia said, "I'll get Miss Riddle to come down here." As Tia was sensible, Jared offered her a smile and remained silent as he sat down on the couch in the living room. He looked around and saw that Mrs. Riddle Sr. was nowhere to be seen or heard, and so he waited patiently. After a few minutes, Tia, who was all alone, approached him. "Mr. Johnston, Miss Riddle said that she was not feeling well, so she won't be coming down, but I think you may head upstairs to check on her." Tia looked at Jared with a smile and a wink. Jared nodded at Tia, whereupon she took the hint and left. Then, he sat still for a while longer, thinking to himself, wouldn't it be even more embarrassing if I go upstairs and knock on her door just for her to keep me out? Oh well, I guess it's probably better for me to just sit here and wait for her in the living room. After that, he turned the television on and watched the news. This continued until Nicole made her way to the lower floor to get herself a cup of water, and she was about to do so when she heard noises from the television in the living room. As soon as she walked over, her eyes met Jared's, who happened to be looking over at the same time. For a moment, both of them were stunned, much like deer caught in the headlights, until Jared decided to flash her a smile. "You're awake." Nicole nodded, holding a cup in her hands. Then, she took a seat on the couch and glanced over at Jared before turning her gaze to the television. "Why is he even here? He hasn't been sitting around, watching the news while I was asleep all this while, has he?" "Have you been sitting here the entire time?" Nicole asked with a frown. "Yeah, there's a lot going on in the news today," Jared said, using the news as a shield to avoid further embarrassment. Nicole stifled a chuckle before asking in a stern manner, "What brought you here?" "Nothing much, I just came over to pay Mrs. Wallace Sr. a visit," Jared lied, unable to cast his ego aside. "Well, then I think you've already seen her," she said. "You may leave, now that you have nothing else to do here." "Sure," Jared replied, still unwilling to swallow his pride to say what he meant to say. The next day, Nicole went to the hospital to visit Mr. Johnston Sr. a visit, and because she had not seen him in a while, she brought him some fresh flowers. "I've come to see you, Mr. Johnston Sr., Nicole greeted after she opened the door to his ward. "Ah, you're here, Nicole." Mr. Johnston Sr. set the book he was reading down and looked at Nicole, who was standing at the entrance. "Are you feeling better today?" "What do you mean by that?" Nicole asked, confused as to what Maximilian had meant. "Jared told me that you were feeling unwell after a session of horse riding. Are you feeling better today?" Mr. Johnston Sr. repeated. "Oh, I'm much better now," Nicole said as she thought. It seems that he didn't tell Mr. Johnston Sr. about what had happened that day. "How have you been feeling these days, Mr. Johnston Sr.?" Nicole sat on his bed after she was done arranging the flowers.
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.